Hi everybody. Yeah, it's the holidays. We should all be resting, but you know the struggle for a better nation does not recognize Christmas or any one of those holidays. So it's what is actually forcing me to come. Niko mali ushago si kwangu ushago kajointika ushago kale kazuri. Yeah, so na nimewacha clan yangu huko wakijivinjari, yeah, even though as we don't celebrate Christmas. Anyway, the reason I'm coming here is because I have detected, let me not say detected is not a good word. I have understood after looking the last few, maybe like a week or 10 days at the goings on in our nation, and I've said let me do this short critical video. This video is critical. This one it is sio tu ku entertain, sio tu kujaza subscription zangu. This is important for Kenya. I have my trusty notes as always. I walk around with them these days. You could think I'm a school teacher. Anyway, the reason why I have come here is because of what was announced, I believe, around 10 days ago, that Kenya is planning a defense cooperation agreement with France. Now, my one statement, summary statement, that deal, that agreement is a bad agreement. It's not just a bad one. It is banking on highly suspicious. Yeah, it is a deal that it was almost like the last straw on the camel's back for me, pointing to an incumbent regime that is preparing to stay in power irrespective of what Kenyans think. Yeah, it is a highly suspicious deal. Now, I had done a previous video, is an hour and 50 minutes. So I said, no, that one I won't post, but I have kept a private link in the description of this one in case somebody is more interested in finding out deeper details. You can follow the link in the description here. Now, in that video, I done close to 40 reasons why I am saying that military cooperation with France is highly suspicious. Highly. Yeah. Wa Kenya, nchi yetu inachukuliwa na ichukuliwi na watu ya kutoka mbali, watu ya nje. Our own Kenyans have planned to pull a Mobutu Sese Seko on us. They have planned to pull a lifetime dictatorship on us. And I'll be showing you. I don't want to share all 40 points here. I'll share like about 15 of them. If you want to hear more, go to that particular video. Yeah. Now, before I share those 15 also points that I want to share with you, let me ask you a question. What is our president's greatest desire and vision that you think he has? What is his greatest vision, even for this country or for himself? What is the greatest desire and vision he has? Mark you, I'm not bad-mouthing. Me, I'll just show you. You know the Bible says, you shall know them by their fruits. It also says that whatever the secrets of the heart are revealed from the utterances ya mdomo. Yeah. So if you look at those two things, you can determine with close precision what his vision and desire is. Now, but before I give you that answer, let's go back to the main topic. Actually, that answer is part of the main topic, but I want to bring it a bit later on. Why am I saying that this video is critical? It's not the video per se. say that is critical. It's the information that I want to share with you that is critical. Now, you see, already the Ministry of Defense in Kenya, headed by Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya, have signed an agreement with the French government, the French military, or whoever, the ambassador of France signed it on behalf of the government of France. Now that is okay. I have looked, I've searched for it on the internet. I found a heavily redacted PDF document, and in that main video, which I said is an hour and 50 minutes, I'll put it in the description of that one, because actually this one I just want to post on TikTok, and I'll do it on the other social medias, but I am measuring sana on TikTok and on YouTube, and I'm again going to tell you why there's a major purpose. Now that agreement Madam Soipan signed with the ambassador of France is a treaty, or is the work makings of a treaty, an agreement between both countries. And now the law of Kenya, which is called the Treaties and Ratification Act number 45 of 2012 of the laws of Kenya, requires that when the government enters into agreements like that, treaties with other nations, that they will bring them to Parliament, and then Parliament will ratify them, and when they are ratified, they are treated in Kenya as the law of Kenya. Essentially, that agreement becomes the law of Kenya. Whatever is contained in the agreement becomes the law of Kenya. Now, that is also very good, even though we don't exactly know, because the government has shrouded everything in the secrecy, rights and privileges, so they can't diverge its defense information, blah blah. So we don't know everything. Nonetheless, I thank God he has given us, he has given me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. He has given many Kenyans an analytical mind, so we can look at even the reduced information that is flowing from the government and assess it together with whatever else we see in our country, and come to a conclusion as to what is being prepared for the nation. That treaty that Madam Soipan signed has now come, it went to the cabinet and has now been taken to the National Assembly for that ratification process. That begins my problems. That is my problem number one. Why? Because the clerk of the National Assembly, one Mr. Samuel Njoroge, the clerk of the National Assembly, and I'm putting his email contact in the description of this video, wherever you're watching me. See the description, you will find it there, and we need to write to him. I'm going to explain that also. The clerk of the National Assembly has announced a public participation, which is a requirement of the laws of Kenya in the constitution, that public participation is required in the law-making process of Parliament. Now, he declared this around the 17th of December. The 17th of December. And I'm looking at my notes. That is still okay. The problem is you cannot find the notice which he has called for the public participation. It's nowhere. I've taken like 3 days. And I admit I am not the most internet savvy character. I'm a Gen X for God's sake. But I have looked for it. The Parliament website, hakuna. I've seen other notices for public participation. So I'm wondering if I can see some for health and medical and things like that. Why am I not seeing that one for the defense cooperation between Kenya and France? It's not on that website. If it is, they are not making it easy kwa mwananchi kama mimi, somebody who is not too tech savvy. to find it. They are not making it easy, and therefore it defeats the purpose even of the website itself. Remember, government is a servant to the sovereign. We wananchi are the sovereign. So the first thing, haiko kwa website, nimecheck mpaka Kenya Gazette. Imagine going through Kenya Gazette za December yote. Yeah, yeah, I think around 26 haikukua online. Yeah, but I checked the others, haiko. So it's not, they can't even say it's on the Kenya Gazette. Yeah, it should be on the Parliament website. It's not there. It's not on the Kenya Gazette, which now then started making it more suspicious, because here you have a redacted document talking of the treaty that you have signed with the French. It's redacted. We don't have all the information that you spoke about or that you agreed with the French for. And by the way, if mukisikia upepo ni unaona nyocha, yeah, bear with me. I couldn't do it any other way, and the information, as I told you, is critically urgent for you to know and to take action. Anyway, now so it's not on the Kenya Gazette. Admittedly, it has appeared especially on online articles, yeah, places like Kenyans.co.ke have talked about it. Yeah, I haven't actually seen a copy of it, but in their articles they have discussed it, and it's not the only one. It's online, yeah. But the problem is, if it is a notice for public participation, si ingefaa kuwa na wananchi. How many of us go online to see Kenyans.co.ke or any other website, Ministry of Defense articles, to check if there is a call for public participation? It ideally should be published in the Nation and Standard newspaper, among others. 2 dailies or 3 dailies that have popular circulation around the country. Yeah, ni Gen X au wengine millennials au ndio sana hizi my internet, but a good portion of the more adult population, we don't check there. So that again is worrying me. Yeah, actually I have asked myself, is it deliberate? Because why are you announcing, as I told you, he announced it around the 17th of December, yeah, just as we are going into the holiday season. And guess what, the deadline for submission of memoranda for the public participation is 31st of December. So he's giving us the holiday week to respond, and then it's not posted anywhere, as in the official notice is not there, unless you read those online outlets, or you actually actively search it out. You go to Grok and Grok it, as I did. It's very difficult. There is no proper public notification that your participation in the discussion is required. So that for me was my number one indicator that there is something not going on well. Yeah, I actually initially, when you hear my long video, you will hear me saying I'm not accusing anybody. I actually for a long time thought maybe ni Christmas blues, walikuwa na haraka kwenda holidays nini wakasau that. But you think about it, why post it over the Christmas holidays? Put a deadline of just before New Year, that is 31st, and then I went and a thought occurred to me at night. Yeah, at check when Parliament went, when it is coming from recess, the National Assembly is coming from recess in mid of February, around tarehe 10 of February. So it's not even active right now. Check when the specialist committees like the defense committee are coming back. Wanarudi 25th of January. So why is the clerk, Mr. Samuel Joroge, insisting on a deadline of 31st of December, when even the committee that is to consider the matter itself is coming back on 25th of January? Kwa nini anatupimia hewa? Wacha niulize hivyo. Yeah. Why the short notice? To me, it is agering of bad blood. It's agering of an attempted cover up. Yeah, or that, so that Kenyans don't discuss this, Kenyans don't get a chance even to hear about it until it is finished and done with. Why? Yeah, I'll give you that information. It's shocking. It's shocking. I did a video earlier this weekend, and I was telling guys my worst case scenario when Kenya goes into military cooperation with France is that we will see in 2027 around August a navy carrier group with several aircraft carriers, several ships, maybe a nuclear submarine. Wengine wamedok kilindini huko, marines wa France wako huko. Then we are told watu yote including hii KDF yetu kaa nyumbani kaa raia. Yeah, and then the powers that be proceed to take over by force without an election. That's my worst case scenario. Yeah, and it's not like nimekuwa nikichunguza watu. This is again I've been saying is scenario modeling. Yeah, you analyze information that is publicly available from the internet, from our own news media, and you come up with undeniable conclusions. We shall know them by their fruit. Mapera ni mapera, haiwezi mea maembe. Yeah. Banana tree haiwezi toka nini apples. Yeah, haiwezi toka apples. There must be some when you see a smoke, yeah, know there is fire. Now, I wanted to write my memorandum, my public response, and send it to the clerk. Email iko kwa description hapa. But then it occurred to me two things. Number one, if they are already actively, participating in concealment, then one memorandum or two memorandum may have little effect. But then I thought even the time to prepare a proper memorandum ni kidogo. We have like 5 days until the deadline. Yeah. So number one, I'm asking you, go into this video, get Samuel Njoroge, the clerk of the National Assembly's email, and email him hata kwa simu, muandikie hata kani sentence 2 ama 3. Si tunaomba uongezee muda ya hiyo public participation. 31st of December is too short. Why not push it to end of January, 31st of January? The committee will not even be in session until 25th. So why not push it there? Yeah. Now, personally, and I don't want to make the effort evil too. I deny myself enjoyment with my family. So I've decided to make an online challenge here. Yeah, and it's for 2 reasons. I need to know that the public, we are all interested in protecting the sovereignty of our nation and the democratic process that we have set in place so far. Yeah, if it will change legally, baadaye ni sawa, but that we protect our democratic process, whereby we will elect leaders the way we have said, and they will not elect themselves to extend their period in office. I need that. Yeah, so I need to know that public, you are interested in that. Number 2 thing I need your weight. Yeah, I just told you nikiandika peke yangu naona ni kama it will be of little effect, but if tukiandika wengi it will be of some sound effect. I am proposing, I'm hoping, I am targeting, let me say, at least 10,000 people, 10,000 Kenyans. Muko huko munanisikia, 10,000 of you minimum. Kama tunaweza fika 100,000 the better, but at least 10,000 of us tuandikie Mr. Samuel Njoroge, clerk of the National Assembly, na tumuambie na 2 things. Number 1, extend the duration for our response so that tuweze compare response zenye they are studied, they are researched, they have evidences, and they are valid arguments yenye tumeangalia, zikipresentiwa mbele ya committee, they cannot do anything else other than to reject. So I know not everyone will take time to do that. part of the reason why I'm doing this video, to give you material. Mukiandika, you can quote me. I'm not claiming any rights to this. It's public information. So you can quote me kabisa. I am going to do 2 videos, as I said. 2 that I'm going to do in every other social media. But I'm going to quote 2 of my media channels. My TikTok channel was Washira 6, Benshakaina Washira 6, and YouTube, my YouTube channel, Third Day Vision. I am going to quote them in my memorandum. Only if I can get at least, I've said here, 200 comments on TikTok for this particular video. 200 comments, museme, I support. And I'm not trying to grow my followership. I'm not. Yeah. Tunajaribu kung'ang'ania hii nchi. The only way I can show Mr. Samuel Njoroge and the Committee of Defense that isi maneno ya mrasta moja anaongea, ni maneno ya Wakenya kwa jumla, is by showing him, putting my link of that, my TikTok and my YouTube there. Nimwambia hii iko na plus 200 comments. I hope they'll get to 100,000, but at plus 200 comments zinasema I support. Na my YouTube at least 100 comments. Now how have I come with those figures? I'm just basing on my subscription. Some of you out there, you are social media influencers. Muko na 100,000 of followers. Kindly, I need your help. Kenya is not even me. Kenya needs your help. Remember what Jesus, the disciples of Jesus, wakati watuma walete punda ndio ride into Jerusalem just before he was crucified. He said, when the owner of the donkey asks, tell him the master has need of it. Now Kenya is our master right now. We know God is our master, he's the sovereign, but Kenya, the country, is our duty and our obligation. It has need of your donkeys. It has need of your donkeys. So not only social media influencers, even if you have 5 followers, haina shida. Saisi story ya kuangalia followers, watumie wote, insist wasikilize, insist those who are conscientious to waweke comment hapo. I agree with this information. I agree. Hata akiandika tu I agree, imetosha. And then I like. And then now huyo mwenye ameandika hivyo atumie all their subscribers tena pali watapata. If we can get as many followers as possible. Wakati ninapeleka my 10 page, 20 page document on email, I can say there, and I have online consent from 100,000 Kenyans on this. That will, hiyo ndio weight ile nilikuwa ninaongelelea, nasema I need to be assured of your public interest and the weight. The weight ni kukubaliana kwenyu. Now I have done the research for you. You can do more research, there is no problem, but at least nimemwanzishia. So you for those of you who maybe because of time or other interests, you don't want to do that research, it is done for you. Just listen to the videos. If you agree, you can even take it. You can. I will even put on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I will put a link to my written memorandum. Yeah, so if you want to quote it, fine. So you don't have to write to the clerk. Email hakuna mtu hawezi andika. You can write 2 sentences. I am so and so, I am a Kenyan, and the information contained here, I have read it and I completely agree, and I ask the committee to reject that proposed treaty. Full stop. Tutakuwa tumetake action. Si mass action saa yote, si lazima tutoke streets saa yote. Tunaanzanga huku wakatae kwanza, lakini wacha tuanze hii. Now, I had asked you a question. Yeah, what do you think is our president's vision and dream for this nation? Yeah, His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto. What do you think is his greatest? He may have several, but which is his greatest desire? Yeah, and I'll put it to you, that greatest desire, see at his story in Singapore, Singapore, yeah, see Singapore, his greatest desire, na hata si 2 term, wale mnasema 2 term, I correct you, si 2 term, yeah. The President Ruto's greatest desire and vision for this country is for him to be president for life. That's to be president for life. For his vision for Kenya ni hiyo. Yeah, why am I saying that? I told you, yeah, Bible says we shall know by their kwa matunda yao, and we will know by their words. Yeah. Kando na kutuambia anatupeleka Singapore, matendo yake ni gani? Yeah, number one, we had recently, about a month or 3 weeks or so ago, wakiwa Kiambu, president mwenyewe alisema na ikikuwa 20 years ni 4 term, si hata 2 term, ni 4 term. Yeah, his friends, yeah, including some industrialists na wengine, people in parliament, wamekuwa wakisema nini, he should be president for 20 years. He should have 4 terms. Yeah, these are things that are in the past. You can you check your social medias. Mutaziona hapo. Go to Grok and ask it. Yeah, how many associates of President William Ruto have proposed a longer term than 10 years, maximum 2 terms. Yeah, it will bring you that information. Yeah, we know there's a woman rep, I think she's called Amina, I forget her name, Wajir woman rep or Garissa woman rep. She said watajazilia, wataiba kura. Honorable Sudi said tutajazilia. Yeah, and those are inner circle people. Yeah, they are echoing the mind of the president. Yeah, the term limit has been in discussion. Even now, by the way, there is a social media influencer who I listen to a lot. I forget his name, anaitangwa Majuice. Ka uko hapo, we sema I agree with this thing na utumie your followers. We need the action. The country needs their action. Majuice alituambia, he gave us an analogy ya frog. Ati frog ikikaa kwa maji, ukiongezea moto polepole haitokangi mpaka hiyo moto inarudi kuichoma, inachamuka, inakufia hapo. Yeah, that is exactly what is happening. Of late ni nini imekuwa tukiambiwa ati 2027 election kutakuwa na mpaka referendum ya kuabolish presidential term limit, iwekwe miaka, something like that. Yeah, what is happening? Frog inaongezewa moto. Yeah, but I assure you, my fellow Kenyans, hiyo ya kuongeza term limit hivyo, ma referendum, ma election, that is that is tukiponyoka. What is planned is worse. And I'm not saying because ati niko na intelligence information mahali. Nikiangalia tu, hata we nikikuonesha, wacha nikwambie, many of you are adults, tunaongea. Do you need to be told a girl is interested in you, or do you need to be told a man is interested in you? Body language tu na facial expression. Body language, facial expression itakuambia, yeah, hapa kuna chances ama hapa okay kitu. That is the same way I have come to the conclusion that in fact this proposed military agreement with France is one of the major signs that wicked criminal activities are planned to force the will of Kenyans. And let me go. So anyway, the first point is that one, that our president's mind is focused on him remaining president until God do us apart. That's the first one. And why is it important? Because if that's the focus, and with a government of sycophants, let me call them like that, whether elected or appointed, sycophants, water, yeah, 99% of the decision makers, sycophants. If that is the government we are working with as Kenyans, what makes you think that there could be another agenda? Si mabarabara za kwetu, hapana, ama za kwenyu, yeah, ni strategy ya how to deal with that. Yeah, then ujue opposition imekuwa ikikaza. Yeah, tutachunga kura, hatutatoka polling station nini. Do you think Kenyans, you know, I keep telling people the devil is not stupid. Shetani si mjinga. The devil can be wicked. He is wicked. Not only can be, he is wicked, but he is not stupid. So now his subjects also, they may manifest wickedness. But what we are seeing, the people in our leadership, they are not stupid. See wajinga, there's no way they would have gotten, if they were stupid, they would never have even gotten to the positions that they occupy. They would never have been running this nation, whether good or bad, the way they are, if they were stupid. So they are, as we are saying, tutachunga kura, na wao wanakaa wanapanga, hata mkichunga tutafanya nini, matibabu ya kuchunga kwenyu itakuwa ni ipi? Yeah, and that's what I want to share with you right away. Haya, criminality of this regime. Yeah, this is the second point. Criminality of the current ruling regime in Kenya. Yeah, we have seen things like goons wakikuwa deployed all over the nation. Tumeona tribalism, it is rife. Yeah, angalia ma PS, angalia ma chairman, angalia tribe, angalia pronunciation za watu. Yeah, tribalism iko. We've seen state capture. The state is captured, is overthrown actually. Yeah, we've seen kidnaps and disappearances. We have seen lies, and we have seen other things like that. Yeah, when you consider such as hivi magunzi na nini, makidnap, hizo vitu zote mauongo, does that inakuweka akili ya kwamba hii serikali yetu inapanga to have a lawful election, general election? If those are the activities wamekuwa wakipanga, what makes you think they will be planning a lawful general election? Look at the recent by elections zenye zimekuwa hizo zilikuwaje? Yeah, so it tells you something. Yeah, again, look at the results this the current regime has had. Look at our health sector, look at education, look at even our parliament. They have become nisitaje hapa juu nitawatumia, but anyway, I don't think they're independent, the 13th parliament. Yeah, even the opposition has been taken, yani ako chukua tu parliament, those who support, hata opposition yote imesombwa. ODM if Honorable Raila Mungu angemuondoa at the time he did, there would be no opposition. Look at our agriculture. Yeah, tunangangana makotini huku at indigenous seeds zikuwe illegal. Is that a government thinking about the wellness of its people? Yeah, public service jobs nimemutajia. Look at the business community na industry vile inawika. Yeah, the negativity there. What makes you think that such a government that is delivering such results it will not interfere with security services? This is my question. What makes you think that they will not? Already we know they have interfered, because vitu ingine hizo unlawful arrest, disappearance, manini zimekuwa, but Githurai 45 no one has explained. Hiyo iko opposition, iko gava. Yeah, so they have interfered. But kando na hiyo, what makes you think they don't want to bring security services to its knees the way they have brought SHA? Juzi Standard imepiga article hapo front page. Yeah, Kenyatta National Hospital is sick. Hata kutest maugonjwa wameshindwa, sijui watatumia US nini wakati koti itafungua hiyo story. Yeah, but yeah, you see what makes you think that the government has no deliberate plan to interfere substantively with our security services? I'm going to show you that just now. over here. Yeah. Now, remember all these reasons that I'm giving you here. When you put them together, when you look at the picture, it's like kuna ile puzzle ya mapicha. Unaweka pande moja inatoa picha mguu ya gari, unaweka ingine inakuwa mlango, unaweka ingine inakuwa windscreen, alafu the roof, the bonnet inakuwa gari. So these points are that way. You put them together. What the eventual picture that emerges there is a dangerous one when we start thinking that we are now proposing a French military cooperation with immunity. Atituwape immunity. Yeah, it's crazy. You are aware that Kenya is already having cooperation with many other nations. Yeah, some of them are major actors, bigger even, I would dare say, militarily than France. Yeah, for example, we are in a direct cooperation with the Americans. We are in historic cooperation with the British. We are in cooperation not just in military but even in the police services with Israel, yeah, and with others. Yeah, so it's not just the French. Why? Number one, has there been found need to add yet another Western power to cooperate with? How hawatoshi? Hata walimu ya watoto yako, kwani atakuwa na maths teachers 5? Yeah, why 5 maths teachers? Kwani ni ngumu aje hii kitu yenye wanasomeshwa huko Lanet ama wherever Nanyuki? Kwani ni ngumu aje yenye inabidi ukwe na 5 maths teachers? Yeah, what is the need of having that one? The other day, this 2025, Kenya hosted the Justified Accord military exercise, I think in Nanyuki or somewhere like that. I read it, it's on the internet. Justified Accord is a major international military exercise that is chaired by the United States, and it was now hosted this year in 2025 in Kenya. Ni nini ingine hii tunaenda kutafuta kwa Wafaransa? Hiyo haitoshi. Now I happened to research what are the military style threats that Kenya has. Yeah, this is point number 5, by the way. Sorry, I'm getting nini mpaka nasahau kumwambia. This point number 5, if you go back to the video, you will see the flow. Point number 5, that since 2022, what are the military style threats that Kenya has been exposed to? First of all, I thank God that there is no neighboring nation that poses an imminent military threat to Kenya. There is no, despite the senile comments of President Museveni, there is no actual military threat to Kenya. Yeah, the military style threat that we have is Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab is a terrorist organization. It's not a formal military like KDF. And since 2022, they have manifested in 2 major ways. Number one, cross-border incursions. Yeah, wanatoka Somalia, wanakuja, wanafanya what they are doing here, wanarudi. For example, vile walisomba the 5 chiefs, na they kidnapped them but later released them. And by the way, not through military action, but through intermediaries and negotiations, wakawarudisha. Then the second way Al-Shabaab has been manifesting is through ambushing vehicles, mainly military and police vehicles, ambushing them with IEDs, improvised explosive devices. Yeah, they have been and all those have been happening in border regions kama kina Mandera na hivyo. Yeah, that's why they've been happening. I'm not saying Mandera is not important. It's part of Kenya, and those people there must be protected, including our security services. Nonetheless, comparatively, with in a military way, comparatively, those are threats of they are lesser threats that can be dealt with effectively by a well-equipped and a well-motivated police force. We don't need KDF even to deal with those ones. Yeah, maybe if we have to pursue into Somalia, and KDF does not need refresher on how to pursue people into Somalia. They demonstrated superb capacity and capability to do that in 2011. Munakumbuka Linda Inchi, ni Wafaransa walikuwa wametufunza that time, and they were successful. Unakumbuka walienda mpaka karibu wafike Mogadishu. I even think walifika Mogadishu. Yeah. What more training? And that was in 2011. Operation Linda Inchi. Sasa ni nini wanafunzwa sahi ya kufuata Al-Shabaab across to Somalia? And now Somalia has got a regime. Thank God to military intervention in AMISOM, one of its major actors being KDF. Yeah, so those two are the threats, the IEDs and the cross-border incursions. Since 2022. So why is the Ruto regime seeing that we need? You see that training, it will cost Kenya in one way or another. Why are we diverting our mind, our attention, our little resources that haven't yet been stolen to now direct it to cooperation with the France? Why not build hospitals or schools or roads or do all the other things? Yeah. Hata wanunue basi boda vile wanatakanga kusema wanunue hizo. Yeah. We know that the Al-Shabaab terrorist group, its manifestation has been supported by the Somali community and the extremist Muslim elements within that religion. Yeah, and that is not to say all Somalis are good. No, there's many good are bad. Yeah, or there's many good Somalis. There's many Muslims who are non-violent. Yeah, but the fact is, historically, when we look at our experience with Al-Shabaab in Kenya, it has been supported, supplied, and even the HR is the extremist Muslim and Somali communities. Right now in Kenya, those communities are enjoying a hiatus. Yeah, wamepewa ID, no vetting. And while it may be good for Kenyan Somalis, it means the whole Somalia can come and become, even Somalis from Ethiopia can come and become Kenya citizens. Why would Al-Shabaab want to rock that opportunity? Why would they want to attack warudishiwe vetting? Hiyo ndo wanauliza. Yeah, so if you agree with me that they would not want to attack because their community will be added vetting if they do such. Yeah, mnakumbuka kina Westgate, kina DC, ilikuwa DC2 ile pale karibu na University of Nairobi. Yeah, the mortuary there. Yeah, those attacks, if they do those ones, vetting it an issue. I believe personally that Al-Shabaab at the moment, because of President Ruto and his regime's declaration of IDs bila vetting, their threat is reduced. Wacha tu tuseme ukweli. Yeah, saa hii while terrorist threats will always be there. Yeah, it's like a wild dog. You can't predict 100%, but over 85% to 90%. Yeah, your wild dog haitatuma sai. Pengine another time, and hopefully by then KDF and Kenya, the National Police Service will have destroyed them, so they will not exist. Yeah, so that was my point number 6. Point number 7. If indeed the Kenya government as a whole is concerned about a heightened terrorist threat that is not obvious to external analysts and observers such as myself, what non-military interventions have they even pursued first before they decided that, oh no, we need to train KDF with the French? They will learn something which the Americans, Navy SEALs now are say Rangers, yeah, hawatawafunza kufunza Israeli Mossad nao wengine IDF hawajui. There is only the French who know, so will train KDF with the French, ndio waenda wakapiga hiyo Al-Shabaab, watafute wapige. Before hiyo process yote, what non-military intervention? You ask like which non-military intervention? Si kuna kitu inaitwa terrorism financing. Sasa tumesikia huko US, Minnesota, yeah, those guys, fraud imepanda, it's coming equivalent to $1 trillion of Kenya shillings. They have fraudulently stolen from the government of the US, and that money is being channeled to into places like Kenya, for some for development, others for supporting Al-Shabaab. Now, if that be the case, why has Kenya pursued an operation to close the entry points, whether they be electronic money transfer or physical money transfer? Has Kenya pursued the entry points to illegal monies into this country that may be going to support Al-Shabaab? Me haven't heard of any. Yeah. So unaona, badala uchukue fimbo ugonge nyoka iko pale, unasema nyoka ingoje uende town ukalete dawa ya nyoka, ama ukanunue tairi ukuje uchome. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Have they, together with the US, kama wali uko wa Somali wa uko US, if they walikuwa wameiba hizo pesa in trillions of Kenya shillings, why not organize a way to recover, asset recovery, because it's stolen funds. Yeah, asset recovery imekuwa gani? Yeah, samea kwa upepo. Asset recovery ile wamefanya imekuwa ni gani? Yeah, so me again asijasikia, because we would have had the Somali community protesting. So I know there is no asset recovery. So they are financing these terrorists to continue on attacks, but they are not financing, sorry. They are allowing finances to flow through for them to continue on their wicked plans, and then they are training the military to stop when those plans are activated. Why not just block the finances? Yeah, that's my argument. Now, my point number 8. Yeah, we have been told that your rights and privileges that the French government wamepewa, ati we will receive reciprocal rights. In France, wewe tutatuma KDF France lini? Cheki kwanza language barrier tu. Yeah. Okay, toka hata language barrier, sema hiyo ni kidogo. Watu ya KDF they are sharp, wanaweza funzwa Kifaransa. Fine. Okay. What are we going to be going to get in France, or what are they going to be making from us? That's a question I want us to look at. For me, there is no issue of reciprocal anything. It's like when you uende usain pact na fisi, ati ukubalishe fisi wa operate kwa in your flock the way they want, among your cattle and your sheep and your goats the way they want, and your pigs wapitange ndani yao wakiwapanga the way they want. And the day you will go to live in the wild amongst them, they will give you the same reciprocal rights. Yeah. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. It is of no benefit to us, and it doesn't even make sense. Let us look at this immunity. Unajua immunity, those rights and privileges zinapeangwa diplomats. Now diplomat wakipewa ni haki yao. Yeah, it's a process that's been pursued internationally by all countries. Yeah, reciprocal rights. But here in Kenya, in the Ruto regime, tumeona watu wengine wakipewa hizo rights. Yeah, for example, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah, kumbuka, just grok, the information is online. Yeah, ingine ni inaitwa Global Center on Adaptation. It's an NGO. It's a European NGO. What is most interesting, Bill Gates is a director there and a major donor to that NGO, Global Center on Adaptation. Bill Gates is a major donor. Those are the two that I could quickly find. The third one that I am aware of now being proposed is this French military, which I am not sure whether it's the direct military, by the way. Yeah, France has been operating how in Africa. Wacha tujiulize tu. It's online. Check. How has France been operating? Normally using what they call private military companies. My argument, yeah, and they are not only in France, kuna hata US, kina Blackwater, Russia wako na yao. Yeah, these guys are mercenaries. Na mercenaries, there is a very bad history of mercenaries being used in Africa. Yeah. Admittedly, in my online search, the French private military companies have not been said to, they don't have a very bad reputation. Nonetheless, there are a majority of those who have been getting used in the West Africa, in the Sahel nations there. Na wamefukuzwa. Yeah. Is it no angalia, and I'll tell you why I'm suspecting hao ndio wanakuja. Wacha serikali ikam clean. Who is being brought? Is it French military ama ni mercenaries tunaletewa? Me, I suspect mostly ni hao permanent private military companies. That's why they are being offered that immunity, because first of all they are not, while they may be doing government assignments, they are not, their first answer is to a private company. The second thing I suspect is the things that they are possibly being hired to undertake are completely, if they come out, they will be very immoral, very criminal in appearance. One reason I'm saying I suspect criminal motivation for their hire ni hivi. The reasons that are stated in that redacted document why Kenya needs to cooperate with France, they are, they don't meet they are all impotent. They don't meet the mark at all. For example, they've said one of the reasons they want to cooperate is for maritime security. Sasa we jiulize ati maritime security. Maritime security, I know two likely areas where they will point that to. Watasema piracy, Somali piracy. You think about it. Yeah, ships zina atakiwa ni za kina. Yeah, si za Kenya. Number two, there is already a military, a navy, force comprised of major countries, the US, UK, even Australia, India, major navies already dealing with that. Yeah, Kenya tunakuja wapi? Do we even have the resources? Ni meli tutanunua? Do we have the money? Ama hiyo meli ndio ya kutupeleka Singapore? Anyway, it's illogical. We don't even, our children are studying under trees, for heaven's sake. Even if we want to watch watu organize huko, it's not a direct threat to Kenya. Yeah, that's number one. Number two ni blue economy, overfishing. Yeah, if Kenya Navy needs to be retrained to deal with criminal fishermen, then we don't have a navy. Why have we been paying them? Waende home wote, tutafute Wakosti na Wajaluo tupeleke huko na madao wapigane. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, you can't tell me Kenya Navy needs training to deal with fishermen who are stealing. Yeah, hiyo hakuna. Yeah, the second thing they have said is reason for the French cooperation is intelligence cooperation. Kenya na watu wote sasa, nimemwambia walikuwa na hii kitu inaitwa justified accord exercise, major regional led by the US. Yeah, we are sharing intelligence with so many other countries: Japan, China, Germany, Denmark, African countries, Ethiopia, Uganda, Seychelles, Burundi, sijui gani. There's so many. Ni nini tunaenda kuongezea kwa Faransa? kwani Kenya there's an acceptable defense level, but when you start doing it too much, that one is done by countries who know they may have an attack posture in their military. They are planning to attack or to exercise military weight in other nations like the US. Yeah, kwenye wanaweza tuma watu wakapigane Ukraine ama kwingine. Yeah, Kenya sisi tunang'ang'ana, tunataka fertilizer. Yeah, anyway, yeah, so that one again, it doesn't hold water. There is no need for extra and if we are already cooperating with EU generally, so if there is need for an intelligence niyo France ni intelligence gani watatupea? Yeah, already wamefukuzwa Afrika, wanafukuzwa Chad, wameenda Central Africa Republic, the 3 Sahel nations, Senegal wanaenda, all these places they are living. Hapa region yetu tuko East Africa Community, wao watatuambia nini yenye intelligence yetu hii yenye inakufuatanga simu yako pali huko ocha inakupiga? What benefit are the French bringing in terms of intelligence? Terrorism. If KDF cannot deal with those low-level threats that I've mentioned, border incursions and IED ambushes, if up to now, despite zile zote linda inchi nini hiyo vitu yote, if KDF kina justify the code hizo, if KDF 60 plus years into our independence, budget kubwa vile iko yao cannot deal with those limited threats, I think it's time we should consider sacking all our military commanders. Waende home wote. It is a sheer waste of time. If despite wametrainiwa Americans wapi nini yenye inabidi tena we have to cooperate with the French. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's illogical. Tuongee mambo ya they've also said a reason for cooperating with France is humanitarian and disaster relief. Haki ya Mungu. Now, do you know kuna ile inaitwa nini HSSP, yeah, humanitarian something security school. Kuna ingine inaitwa IPSTC, ile iko Karen, International Peace Studies Training College, something like that. Yeah, those are leading organizations globally. They are leading organizations for humanitarian and peacekeeping studies. Do you know, you grok it, just put there Kenya's experience and contribution in humanitarian activities and peacekeeping. It has got a major CV, many countries. KDF, police, sai police wako Haiti hata. Yeah, with major contribution in people, in resources, in outcomes. Then put there, I mean, that's why I like Group. After you get the Kenyan one, you compare with France. Yeah, France, the only thing they beat Kenya at humanitarian and peace studies is the amount of money that they contribute to humanitarian activities. Yeah, in terms of skill and na mambo kama hiyo hakuna. It is us to teach them. Yeah, so why are they coming to train us about such things? Yeah, it makes no sense. Hakuna hiyo mi naweza sema confidently tunadanganywa. Hiyo ni uongo. Yeah, haya tuende tena ingine. Yeah, haya point number 11, France's history in Africa. Its history. Ndio watu walikuwa frontline kumada Gaddafi. They are the same people who, because of their inactivity, lack of decisive action in Rwanda in 1994, yeah, the genocide had the effect that it had. Admittedly, wao Wafaransa kuua watu in Rwanda. Nonetheless, their indecisiveness, being that they were the trainers then. Do you know Rwanda broke diplomatic relations because of that? Because the French failed them at the time of need. What are they coming to help us now? Yeah, currently Sahel nations, yeah, the three major ones, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they have thrown them out. Those guys had anti-terrorism programs, the French, in those countries. They have failed for years. Yeah, those countries guys were continuing to be unalive, economies stalled, countries in disarray. Yeah, for years the French were doing nothing there. Yeah, wasting, just playing, you know, politics. Ndio waendelee kuchota ma uranium na ma gold na vitu za those resources of those countries. Chad imewafukuza. Central Africa Republic the same. Yeah, zero effect. This is the history that France holds in Africa. Why would a leading president, okay, he's not a leading president, why would a leading nation as Kenya claiming not only a leadership but a podium for influence in Africa, then go to give a cooperation militarily in the area they have failed most militarily, yeah, to such a country? Remember, France has and you can grok that also. France since 1960 has presided over at least 50 dictatorial regimes in Africa. 50 of them. It has been accused of unaliving at least 22 African presidents. That is their history. Yeah, there is the CFA financial agreement between the former colonies of France and France. The ones in Central Africa up to today, they are mandated to contribute 50 to 100% of their monies to the Central Bank of France. And a year for them to get that money back, they get it as a loan. As a loan, your money, get it back as a loan. How do you net? What cooperation? Yeah, what makes you Kenyan think that we get a better deal than any other African? Yeah. Okay. Now let's look at the issue of skill upgrade. You know, when you suggest that there is training, cooperation, and such, yeah, in any organization, not just in KDF, even in the company where you work, why is there training? Because some qualified professional, senior trainer or people like that, people who determine HR department, they look, and after doing a proper professional study, they find that there is a skills gap in the skills of the employees. Yeah, that's the first reason. Training is done because there is a skills gap in the performance. Yeah, it's not the equipment, it's not the morale, it's not the working hours, it's not it's not the supply side, it's not the removal of the manufactured stuff to the market. No, it is skills gap in the employees who are working in that company. So we must be told what is the skills gap in KDF, that they cannot deal with roadside IEDs and with occasional guerrilla style incursions, across border incursions of Al-Shabaab. What is the skills gap? And I'm saying if there is a skills gap to date in KDF that they can't deal with those two threats, we must sack all the commanders of all our military, sack them all and promote our people. It means they are doing nothing. What are they leading? Kwani ni G4S? Yeah, anyway, yeah, so that's number one. The second reason why training is done is because there is a process change. The process you have been following has changed. Now they have introduced a new way of doing things. That new way may include new equipment. Yeah, wamenunua mashini zingine sio kama zile mmekuwa mkitumia. So there is requirement of current employees to be retrained. And I'm saying current employees being retrained, not new employees. If the induction course for KDF is the one where and I'm suspecting is the civilian, the private military companies coming. I am suspecting highly. Ndio sababu wanapewa hiyo diplomatic immunity. If it is that, then I said sack the commanders of KDF. Wote, Navy, Jeshi, Air Force, wote waende home to a certain rank. Waende wote to promote wengine. It means they have been doing nothing. So in my opinion, there is no skills gap in KDF. There is no skills gap. It's not new equipment. Do you think where equipment tunanunua tunatoanga wapi? Yeah, wacha tuulizane hivyo. Zingine zinatoka UK, zingine Israel, zingine US. Ni rahisi hizo nchi tatu na zingine zile wale wanaleta China wawachilie a new supplier akuje. Because mkitrainiwa mwenye anamtrain atasema wacheni na hii machine gun ya wa British, nunueni hii ya Wafaransa. Do you think that's likely? So wacha tuambiwe kitu ingine. My reason number 14, yeah. You see, this is why I was saying this thing is very serious. You know, you think about it. Yeah, I'm putting a proposal here to you now. If a president or if a regime wants a second term, not necessarily Ruto, any regime anywhere in the world, if they want a second term, in conditions such as the ones our history with goons and such, and militias in Kenya, SLDF for example, and others, all you need is a militia, an illegal militia, a mungiki. You just need a mungiki, an SLD, support land defense force, yeah, and such. That's all you need. Waharas kidogo siku ya election nini kura zipitishwe, wajazilia vile walisema watajazilia, upate second. But if your ambition, your desire that you are willing to kidnap people for, despite your denials, your desire is to be president for a lifetime. Yeah, militia haiwezi. Yeah, you need a loyalist military unit. That's what you need. And I know I'm not advising, I'm telling you Kenyans what's coming. You need a loyalist military unit. Yeah, for example, Museveni, he was fighting in Obote and that in the 80s. Yeah, NRA, yeah, he was the chairman. The NRA were loyal to Museveni. Yeah, I have put a whole list of people here. Salva Kiir in South Sudan. Sini tribal, ni jeshi tribal. Inasumbua. There is Idris Deby in Chad. I think his was up to around 2021. Check it out. Grok those. Yeah, Idris Deby. Mobutu Sese Seko in DRC. Yeah, he had a loyalist army. Them, it wasn't. You see, in the West, yeah, people serve in the military, in the police. They serve their nations. Their nations come first, not the leaders of their nations. In Africa, it's different. At least in Kenya, I believe and I hope still that we have a professional military. It has been touted as such, that they are serving Kenyans first, unlike the Tanzanians, where their defense force recently presided over the slaughter of their citizens, yeah, by Madam Dasongo, yeah. So if you want a lifetime presidency, you need a loyalist military unit that is support. RSF, hii yenye tuna supply na tunauza gold yao. RSF, what are they? Loyalist military unit, yeah, ethnically and religiously. You RSF, yeah. Kuna kina Denis Ngweso, yeah, wa Republic of Congo, wacha DRC ile Congo ingine. Kuna Kagame hapa karibu, yeah, na Matutsi, loyalist, yeah. That is I believe what this regime is trying to create, yeah, and their attempt is not only to I want to name names here. Mr. Ogopa, wacha niseme, I can be disproven. You can put your disproof here. But look at even the hiring that is happening in the public sector. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying there is any particular ethnic community in Kenya as a community that would stand up for such things. But I can see the Nandi subgroup being targeted. Kuna unemployment, and we know Kenyans, we serve the highest bidder. So it's certain you are Nandi. Kenyans pesa ikiwa, they'll do anything. Ndio gunzo wamekuwa wakio, hata kama ni Murima. Yeah, they will betray their own for money. They are, some of them, and I don't want to name names. But the Nandi subgroup is being targeted, and maybe even the Kalenjin generally. Not all, I'm not saying all. It's not a community thing, but they are being targeted to look for loyalists. The Somalis ni wengine. Yeah, they have nothing to lose. Somalia, Mogadishu walichoma, Minnesota wameshikwa, and they have that caliphate agenda of theirs. Wanaoa mabibi ine wanazalisha, and then they let them go because bora they are able to take care of the children. Sasa sijui kutaendaje na funds US zimefungwa. Wewe hujakuwa ukishangaa hawa Somali wanatoa do wapi? They have nothing to lose. I thank God the laws were being roped in. Wacha tuonge ukweli, we are in this Kenya. Yeah, I thank God. Maybe that's why even God decided to exit Honorable Raila. Yeah. This regime is looking for loyalists. That's what they have done. They have turned the entire parliament, 13th parliament, into their loyalists. Mpaka tumesema mpaka opposition. Yeah. Angalia polisi. Yeah, they are being used. They are being used. You know, a heavy hand has been used again from the police. Why? Highest bidder, loyalist. Yeah. So I am suspecting that we will see a special presidential guard being created of those loyalists from those communities, handpicked. Why not pick from existing security services? Because many people who went there for two reasons: to find a life for themselves and to serve their nations. Chances of betrayal and rejection of plans to overthrow the legal structure of Kenya may find the opposition. You need a disciplined, well-trained unit with a command structure and authorities that can operate across this nation freely. That may not be forthcoming with the military or with the National Police Service unless you create your own special presidential guard. Na unajua si vitu tunasema kwa mbali. Ni hamukuona IED chini ya daraja Migori. I'm saying nothing more. But it tells you what is planned in the future. A narrative is being created. Yeah. Now, wacha nimwachie hapa. I think I've said too much. I had listed a few more, but many of them I've canvassed kwa urefu in my other video. Kenya needs you. Kenya needs you urgently. Yeah. Tusinyamaze, vitu ipelekwe kama tumenyamaza. Let us at least say we tried to speak out, ikashindikana. So forward this email to this video to as many people as you can. Ask them to put in their comment, I support or I agree. Send your protest to the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Samuel Njoroge. Tell him your time of public participation ni kidogo. Yeah, waongeze mpaka January. Then keep in touch with this agenda. wacha tuikatae en masse as Kenyans. Si lazima nimemwambia vitu tufanye kwa street always. There are these systems, let's take advantage of them. We deal with this thing here, we close it down if we can, if they will hear. I have hope that in our parliament and in that defense committee, there are a few who will be conscientious and patriotic and do the right thing. So you do like them the way we are praying, and let us take our nation back. Kwa opposition, kama unajua hao kina Gachagua, send them, yeah, and ask them to rally their people against that agreement. Wale tuko nao wametosha, tuendelee nao. Wafaransa wangoje kwanza tusome Kifaransa. So until next time, have a good holidays. Remember the deadline for submitting is 31st of this December. We have like 5 days. So usikalie, take action now. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Shalom.